Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, I am OverHugs, and I'd like to welcome you back to Building Bread. Thanks for choosing to join me on the adventure today. In our last episode, we got to the Nether roof and set up this portal in order to go back to the overworld, as well as defeated the Wither. This is something that we need in order to build the farm that we're going to do in the rest of the episode, of which we're going to build a magma cream farm now that we're here on the roof, as well as open a hole back to the lower part of the Nether so that we can climb up if we want to, or go through this portal. Let's get into it and go back to where we were in the overworld. And as you can see, we've come back through an existing portal. And that's fine. Our entire goal here was to get out from the roof of the Nether and find a way that we can come back easily. And if you remember, the Nether is a factor of 8. I love our little ballerina zombie pigman going on here. Just because I'm watching doesn't mean you have to stop the show. But you were so graceful. Don't give up on your dreams. So the Nether travel is a factor of 8 in comparison to the overworld. And so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take that 4359 number and multiply it by 8 and create a portal in the same spot, exactly like we did before when we linked up portals. So let's figure out where that is. So here we are, and you might notice there's a slight problem. Where we need to link up this portal is right in the middle of the water. And this is actually convenient because this is a technique we're going to have to do in our next episode anyway. So what you can do is just go down to the bottom of the ocean and then put up scaffolding as you would normally. And not drown. Drowning is not recommended. So as long as you go down from the bottom, you can put up scaffolding wherever you want. And here we are at 344, 480, which is the coordinates that we want to be. However, we have to get up above 128. If we don't get up above 128, then there's a significant chance that it will link us back down under the Nether roof, even though we're in the right coordinates. So if you look at the Y on the right-hand side of our screen, we're now at 110. And so what we'll do is we'll go up to 128, and we'll create a little platform that gives us somewhere to land on. And here we are. We're at 128 exactly. We'll create ourselves a little platform, and we will create our portal in here. And this will give us the ability to get back and forth to the Nether roof whenever we want. And you can create a variety of these portals, and we likely will. I don't like to do it too much because it does feel feels a little cheaty, to be quite frank. If you get up here, you can remove all the danger of the Nether entirely. And plus, we don't have to build a Nether hub if we do it that way. And I kind of like having a Nether hub. They can be entertaining to build, and they can be fun as well. So let's go, and we'll just punch this and this out and build our portal on our path here. And light it up. And if we've done everything properly, when we step back through here, we should be on the Nether roof. And we are. That's excellent. So we've done this properly, we've created our portal, and we've connected things up. And this is fantastic. So why did we want to come through in the Nether roof in the first place? First of all, I'm going to drop a waypoint here, because quite frankly, it's really hard to find stuff on the roof. It all looks the same. There's no landmarks. So roof, we'll create a new waypoint and call it roof portal. So basically, the reason that we want to be here is we're here specifically to create farms that are otherwise very difficult to build, because you would have to do a tremendous amount of mob proofing, to the point of where we would spend more time mob proofing by probably an order of magnitude than we would constructing the farm. And quite frankly, while I like building farms, I don't like mob proofing. So I try and do it the least I can, and you can do that through some intelligence. But you get a general idea of what the roof of the Nether looks like by flying here. It's just bedrock. Unending bedrock. With a couple of mushrooms. And that's why we have the waypoints. So right now, we're entering the purpose of why we came up here in the first place. And this is a basalt delta. And you may notice that the particles and the Geiger counter effect are still here, even though there's no other terrain. And what we want to do here is we want to build a magma cube farm, because for all the farms that we're going to be building in the next couple of episodes, we are going to need a great deal of magma cubes, on the order of hundreds to thousands. So because of that, and again, because I don't particularly like mining, we're going to build a farm where we can just passively collect it. Work smarter, not harder. So the farm that we're going to use is a modified Rayworks farm. It's only very gently modified. He did an amazing job on it from the very beginning. And it works about as effectively as you could ever want. And I'll put a link to Ray's page in the comments, because giving credit to the people who design these things is important. And if you don't support a community, then why are you part of it? And as with all farms we create, this is best done in a time lapse. So here we are once again on our camera account, seeing ourselves at the spawn area, which is at the build limit. And if we are to go down here, as this farm starts to come into view, you will see the absolute amount of magma cubes that this farm is generating. And this will aggressively generate pretty much to the mob cap for the time, at least for the number of spawn areas we have, because we're at a point of where really nothing else can load. Since we're at 256 for where our character is standing, as we go down here to the bottom of the bedrock at 128, this is the limit at which things can spawn. So there is just nothing else here that can spawn except for these magma cubes. And I left this running pretty much overnight, and as you can see, we got quite a lot. We're at the point now of where this should fulfill our needs for the foreseeable future. Basically 9 double chests worth of magma creams, and as a reminder, every 4 will turn into a magma block, so this is more than enough for what we need for our next couple of projects. And if we ever decide that we need more, it's just one AFK session away. So let me explain a bit about how this works, just in case you choose to build one of your own. This is a very, very simple farm. Basically, what we are is we're in a basalt delta, and magma cubes are one of the only things that can spawn in a basalt delta to begin with. So basically all we did was we came up to the nether roof here and created a platform of spawnable blocks. We built these walls to keep everything inside, because otherwise the large cubes could jump out and over. As you can see, they hit pretty high on the max of their extension of the jump. And what we also did was we put in these blockers so that ghasts cannot spawn. Ghasts require a 3x3x5 spawning session in order to go, and that's what this basically does, is it reduces it down to where there is nowhere that they can spawn. And all of these slabs are bottom slabs, so there's nothing that can spawn on the top here. And inside the middle here, as you can see, we have an iron golem. And the iron golem, if we're to turn on the hitboxes with F3 and B, you can see that it has line of sight to everything here, and everything has line of sight to it. So anytime that a magma cube spawns anywhere in this area, and this is the maximum distance that they can see the golem, they will immediately hop in, as you saw with that pack that just spawned, and they'll land on try and get to it through these wither roses, and they'll just die. The wither effect will kill them, not incredibly quickly, but fast enough. And underneath here, we have a hopper minecart that's just going around and collecting everything from the top. It's pulling them through the blocks. And what we have over here is it goes to an unloading station. And this is a very simple redstone contraption, which just basically detects if there's anything in this hopper here, it will activate this comparator, which will deactivate this piece of this redstone torch. And that will remove the power from the powered rail here. So the minecart will just sit here until it's totally empty. And once it's empty, that will deactivate the comparator and it will reactivate the torch. You can see it going on right now. Since there are items that are moving through this hopper, it deactivates the torch. And once it's empty, torch activates again. And then all we have is a very simple hopper chain that leads into these lower hoppers and feeds these double chests. And we have the capacity for quite a lot of magma cream here. But that will basically be more than we need. With this thing coming through and doing probably about 10 or 15 per load, and it comes up pretty quickly, as you can see, we end up with a stack in, realistically, a couple of minutes. A quick bit of crafting later. I think we've got enough. This is why you build farms instead of going out and mining. Not only that, I think we're good. And finally today, we are going to try to break Bedrock. Now, generally the way that this works is through pistons and piston heads and the way that they interact when they're extended and destroyed. I will fully admit that beyond that, I don't really understand it. No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link some more descriptions in the comments if you want to learn more with people who understand the depths of Minecraft and code reading better than I do. But I do know enough in order to make it work, so let's do that. So we've marked out here the block that we want to break. This is where our ladder was earlier in the episode. And the way that we want to do that is we want to start with an extended piston head. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get out our redstone box and we're going to place it far away from where we're going to be blowing things up because I, for one, don't want to lose anything. And what we're going to need is pistons, TNT, a lever, an oak trapdoor, which we've already made, and some blocks that have reasonably high blast resistance. Cobblestone is one. It has the highest blast resistance of things that are not extremely, extremely resistant, say like obsidian. And if this doesn't work, we can always switch back to obsidian, but some of the things that I've seen say that this works just fine, so I, for one, am going to try it. So what we want to do is we want to start with our piston, and we want to put our piston over where we want to break, facing out. Next to that piston, we're going to put our cobblestone block here, and we're going to put another cobblestone block here. Next to that, we're going to put our TNT. And our TNT is going to go here and here. And then what we're going to do finally is put in a lever right here. Second to finally, just kidding, was seeing if you're paying attention. Not really. But this is where we have to put this trap door. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to flip this lever. Then we're going to get under this trap door. We're going to come over here because this piston is going to be extended. And with a piston in our hand, we're going to very rapidly spam click the block where the piston is extended from. So let me go through here and actually just destroy the TNT and show you what it is so that we don't risk exploding things. So flip the switch. That switch activates this piston. We're going to come and activate that, and that will cause us to go under and be compressed under the trapdoor, as you can see right here. And so while we are compressed, while we are compressed, we're going to come over here and we're going to spam click against this side as fast as we can. And I'm hoping we'll be fast enough to do this without any macros or anything. But if it doesn't work the first time, we'll try it a second time with macros. So that's basically it. So why don't we try it and see what we get? So once again, the TNT goes here and here. When we flip this lever, it'll activate the TNT. So we want to have our piston ready to go because there's not a tremendous amount of time. But the 2 blocks here will shield us from being destroyed or taking damage from the TNT. So let's go. Let's try it. So find that. Click, click, come over here, spam click. And we died. That's very surprising. Okay, that was not what I expected. Okay, so we've gathered up a backup set of gear and made our way back here. And the fact that everything is destroyed is definitely not a good sign. We definitely did not lose our bedrock, nor did pretty much anything survive. So that's quite surprising because I've used these methods in the past, and I'm not exactly sure where it went wrong. So I'm going to hop into a creative world and figure this out. Okay, after much experimentation in a creative world, I think I understand. First off, I was not able to make this work without using obsidian, so we're going to go back and do that. Second of all, it is critically important to make sure that you are placing the piston when it is going to explode in the right position. And it has to be very, very high and close, like basically right up here in the corner of the obsidian block. If we lower, like that is absolutely not what I wanted to do. So let's get rid of that. If we flip the trapdoor up, we're basically going to be aiming like right there as we're going through and doing it. So let's give it a try. At this point, we only have 2 shots because we only have 4 TNT left. And if this does not work, we're going to have to go farm some more. But I was able to get this most of the time in the creative world, probably about 80%. So let's give it a shot. That is unfortunate. And we did not get it because we had bad positioning, but we'll give it one last try. Okay. The piston knocked us out of the way, and that is exactly what we didn't want to do. The other thing that's definitely important is you'll notice I'm switching over to the piston every time I'm going to do it because I don't want to waste time while the TNT is burning doing so. So, last shot. Cross your fingers. And I think we got it. And we did. Success. We have broken bedrock in the right area that we wanted to. So final time's the charm, I guess. But yeah, so this is exactly how you break bedrock, and as you can see, it is kind of finicky. But now we can just go and climb directly down our ladder into the area that we created before, so now we have access to the nether roof without having to go through that portal. So once again, I wanted to thank you for choosing to spend your time on the adventure with me today. I am OverHugs, and this has been Building Bread. As a reminder, I donate all the profits I make off of this to local food banks. So if you've enjoyed yourself or otherwise gotten something of value out of today, I'd really appreciate if you would like, subscribe, or tell a friend. Together, we can help people that are in need. I hope that you have the most wonderful of days, and I'll see you soon.